Welcome in for another episode of Downrange Podcast.
For those of you watching us on whatever video platform, you may notice a new person here. For those of you listening on whatever listening podcast service, you may notice a new voice.
Hi, I'm Alana Jade. I was a combat engineer. I served on Fort Carson over in Colorado, the mountains. Good stuff, playing with bombs. So, hey.
Fun times.
Mm-hmm.
So, did your medics just carry around a broom and dustpan in case something bad happened?
Oh my gosh, you know what they told us? They said our life expectancy was 8 seconds.
Oof.
Yeah. Almost as long as a bull rider.
You know?
Yeah. Those are good odds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the best part about the job, it's you either do your job right or it's no longer your problem.
Yep.
I've said that a lot, and it's good to actually hear somebody who is in that MOS say that for once.
Yep.
Finally, somebody that understands it.
Vindication.
Anyway, so what made you want to join up in the Army?
My great grandfather, he was part of the first medic unit. They were called MASH, I believe.
All right, the mobile hospitals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great television series on that.
Yep. He fought in the Korean War in the 50s. So he just inspired me to join because I saw how every Thanksgiving, every holiday that I would visit, he would make a big deal. He's like, yes, as soldiers, we get our discounts and we get to go do this. And, there are certain events like, military balls and all that. It just, as a kid, sounded so like, ooh, ah. So
look at all the things I get to do.
Then you join up and you go to Fort Bliss.
Oh. Yeah. Luckily, I was redirected. I was supposed to go to Fort Bragg, but I ended up in Fort Carson. So
lucky.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Lucky. I'm glad to be here. This is awesome. You go hear me a lot more, see me a lot more.
We'll bring you on for more episodes and
might change out one or two of us in for the other. Go team.
Yeah.
So we got Zoomy, Boomy, and Doc now, right?
Zoomy, Boomy, and Doc.
All right, cool. The holy trinity of the military.
Yeah. No, that seems about.
We just need a face now.
I'm Boomy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the one that blew stuff up, right?
I'm Boomy. I like that. Let's go.
Today is going to be thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Oh. I mean, honestly, what does that mean to us as veterans when we hear it? Like, that's kind of, it always struck me weird, but I've acknowledged on the show before my own weird, imposter syndrome. I was a guardsman, I never deployed, I never got that feeling that I was a real person, like a real soldier. I never got that.
I'm a real military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Airman Pinocchio.
Yeah. No, I can relate to you though about not really feeling like you did enough to receive a thank you for your service, but if you really dig down deep, you're way more than people know. That sacrifice goes way deeper than people think. So
I mean, all I've done is kick around, run around Camp Buring and collect T-shirts from various events there, and yelled at a commanding officer to get out of his car because he wasn't listening to my commands at the entry point in Jordan. Yeah.
And that's risky business. That's a
sacrifice.
sacrifice.
I mean, I've deployed, but nowhere special. Didn't do anything fun. Well, I got to do some fun things, but nothing fun.
Right.
But let's see. I did get to go to prison for 2 months during COVID.
Oh,
Well, that's.
how was that?
Angry toddlers with tattoos, and that's all they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went in with that mindset every day when I was passing out their medications and everything. I was supporting the prison workers, I was not in prison. Let that be clear. I was not inmate. I was paid status, I guess, technically.
Paid inmate.
No, I wasn't that. I wasn't staying in the prison. I was working in the prison. Although it does fit into the joke that I would eventually be the first person in my family to actually go to prison.
What do you know? My high school teacher was right. I was in prison. God, no. That weird imposter syndrome. Like when I get told thank you for your service, it's that You're welcome.
Thank you.
Like, and I love you, random citizen. But
That's
like,
how it feels. It's really how it feels.
what? It's always kind of one of those. What do you say to this? Like, I always say thank you back. Like,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah, but my reply tends to be, because more often than not, it's from somebody that has a service member, either their kid or their spouse or their parent was and everything. Or I usually just say thank you, and everything and all that. But sometimes when it's an older service member and they're obviously wearing their veteran hat or whatever and all that, or they have the old school tattoos and everything where they've done some stuff. I'm like, hey, no, thank you, because without your sacrifice, I would not have it as good as I do.
Mm-hmm.
I have a buddy going through great. He's in reception right now at Fort Sill. So
Shout out.
looking at you, James, looking at you. We love you, man. Look forward to seeing you at graduation.
You'll see this episode afterwards.
Don't worry about it. Or maybe when you get your phone or whatever. But the Reaper's looking out for you.
I do think what you said about like them when they say thank you for your service, that shows that they already have a respect, meaning that they have someone in their family or someone that they know that's in the service. So I mean, looking at it in that sense, to me it would be a compliment. So when they say thank you for your service, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I just tend to feel weird about it when I'm in a big open area and there's a lot of people around me. I'm like, thank you.
Not me. I don't get it, guys, because I love it when someone's like, thank you for your service. I'm like, thank you.
Then there's always the like weird Veterans Day service at like church. With everybody who served in the audience, please stand up. It's like, okay.
Hello, yes.
Dog and pony show. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I like it.
I mean,
it's nice. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel appreciated. At the same time, it's like there were better ways to go around this.
I love a good pat on the head or a pat on the back. Well, something for you join the military. Good job, because there is a lot of sacrifice, like I said, a lot, and including being away from. And you guys know this, but I just want to highlight it and point it out that being away from your family, not being able to go see your family whenever you want, that's a big one. You have to ask for permission to say, hey, my mom's sick. I need to go see her. Or, hey, my cousin's graduating. Can I please go? Now imagine being 26 or something and asking for permission to go see your mom. That's a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. It's like there's a lot of sacrifices that we've made or have signed on to potentially make.
Because if there was a big old alarm that said everybody in green, get your asses up and get on out there, we would have to go, right? And that's what that signature meant. That's what those many signatures and many peanut butter shots. That's what all those meant.
Fingerprint scanning.
Doing the duck walk half naked in front of strangers. That's
awkward
sacrifice.
bending over with the oldest crypt keeper version of a doctor you've ever met.
Yeah, and back in the day, they didn't have a lot of female doctors or anything like that for the military. So it's like, yeah, you're doing this weird duck walk, half naked, bending over, stretching, doing limbo.
And you're surprised that the doctor is able to actually do the movements himself. You're like,
Sir.
But what kind of feelings invoke? Like, how do you feel when someone says it? Because obviously, you're not going to sit there and be like, you're not going to sit there and think. So, like,
I'm grateful for it.
I'm always grateful to be told thank you. Like, it's nice to hear it.
Early on in my service, I felt really awkward because I didn't feel like I'd earned that respect. I mean, yeah, I had the National Guard license plate because I was like, hey, I've been in the National Guard. But I really didn't feel like, getting the veteran license plate because I didn't really feel like a veteran because I was I hadn't completed my first contract. I hadn't hadn't been activated to do anything. Hadn't been on any deployments.
Mm-hmm.
I was a dumb PFC.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't been an NCO yet or anything. I hadn't done anything that I felt was worthy of being called a veteran at that point and being thanked for my service.
Yeah,
I was a dumb college student.
But I get that.
Nowadays, I'm like, thank you for your service. Like, thank you for recognizing me. I take advantage of the veteran parking spot in Lowe's.
and Texas
Oh.
Roadhouse, and
Oh.
They have a Texas Roadhouse?
yeah, Texas Roadhouse has veteran parking.
Usually when
it's
I go,
military first responder parking.
What if I do?
I don't go out to eat at Texas Roadhouse very often. Last time I went was with my dad, and he parked in the handicap spot because, well,
Technically, that's a better spot, but no, it's like the one over here by Zona Rosa. It's 4 handicap spots and like 2 military spots right there at the front.
I mean, you guys know that like I am very boastful about the thank you for your service, but maybe I'd like, to share why. I personally, when I joined in, I was the first round of females to enter my MOS, combat engineers. That's when they had just let females enter. So I was working maybe 5 to 10 times harder just to prove myself because I was working with men, and not only men, but men who didn't work with females. So
Men who
The
didn't
math
believe
run.
that you should be in that spot.
exactly,
the
and
physics grunts. That's what I
yes,
like to call them.
and there's no sensitivity training at all in the
Nope.
military. So there's no sensitivity training. So they just kind of throw you in there. And honestly, that alone, I mean, I have stories for days, but I won't. That's another podcast. But yeah, just working just as hard to prove myself to the men. That took a lot out of me. So that's why I'm like, thanks.
Was that was that when the all combat arms or engineering one happened before?
Combat engineer? Yeah, that's when they started letting the females.
But like all combat, was that around the time they all
Oh.
combat arms except for tankers, which that's a biohazard thing versus a equity and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff. I had to.
I think it was for all of the combat jobs. Right?
So that was like,
Research on that.
how long ago did you go through? That's the
That
question.
was 2015, 2016.
Okay, yeah. So that would be around that time when all the combat arms stuff was happening.
Yep. So that I take pride in that being the only female in my unit for a year. I mean, there was another female, but she was supply. That she was different. Which another female, cool, but she wasn't out in the field with me while I was surrounded by men and they're looking at me like, "Can you do it? Can you not do it?" It's either give me this, let me do it for you, or here, since you can do it, have mine. No, that type of energy. So there was no in the middle.
So there was no like, excuse me, let me paint my nails first, then I'll get it done and do it better.
I wish I had that attitude back then. I was 17 when I went in, and I wasn't scared or anything. I just was quiet. I paid attention, and I stayed out of the way, and that's how I felt like I succeeded.
But yeah, largely when a military person gets thanked for their service, there's that moment of reevaluating your own stuff. Like we've sat here and we've told stories. There's that moment of, yeah, you know what? I guess I did earn it, regardless of whether I have the imposter syndrome or not. It's like, yeah, I guess I did serve.
I mean, but like, what would be the problem if by chance someone were to be thank you for your service and you say you're welcome?
Nothing.
What would be wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that.
Nothing.
And
But why
I feel
is there
like
stigma?
I don't think there's necessarily a stigma. I just
feels awkward saying you're welcome.
Well, yeah,
It's
that's
kind
fair,
of
that's fair.
the regard of them saying thank you for your service, and you're like, you're welcome for my service. I mean,
do I hold out a tip screen? Like
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Just like-
Thank you, sign.
But I think a lot of the proliferation of the thank you for your service is coming from the older generations that didn't get that thank you. That came home, they're thanking the younger generation because they know what it's like to not be appreciated, to actually actively be condemned for it when they were literally spit on, they were yelled at as they were coming home from the airport. All they wanted to do was hug their parents, wife, kids, whatever, because the older generation, specifically of Vietnam and Korea and all that, they lost their best friends in probably horrific ways, or
family, like
they lost their family due to being away.
Yeah, or I mean, lost their brothers like while over there. I mean, entire groups of family members were sent over, and some of them the last time they saw each other was the plane ride over.
Yeah.
So
my great grandpa made that sacrifice. He told me one story about how he had to they weren't operating because they were out in the field, but like I said, he was a medic and he was what's the word I'm looking for? Um, not operating. He's helping. I'll just say helping for lack of better words. He's
Surgical
helping,
assistant.
Yes, yes. He's assisting on someone who didn't even see him as a full human being.
Yep.
Didn't even see him as a full human being. However, he's saving this man's life because he was losing blood very fast. You know, that's that sacrifice.
The ones that say thank you for your service, we thank you for recognizing us. And the ones that didn't get the thank you when they came back,
we
thank you.
Like,
We thank you.
Like, from the bottom of our heart, thank you.
And we know your sacrifice. I'm going to keep saying that word. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. You made it.
Did you break out a knife hand on there?
I think she did.
Sacrifice.
Again, we salute those who came before us, that made the sacrifice before us to make it all the better for us. And we thank you guys for your service. We thank all the people that, although you didn't join up in everything, you support us in whatever way possible, whether that be sewing together a pillowcase at a church function. I love my pillowcase that I got on deployment. It's my lucky pillowcase. I love it. Or just writing little letters of encouragement, knowing that we're thought of and everything.
Miss Jensen's 3rd grade class, thank you for your letter. Guys, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for serving. Thank you for just being you.
Yeah, I mean, without you, we wouldn't have, without people thanking us for the service and everything, we wouldn't have had the idea for this episode. Without people, other military veterans and service members making various forms of content,
we wouldn't have the show.
Notice us, AC. Notice us.
AC senpai, please notice us.
That electrician senpai.
But without you guys, we wouldn't have had a reason to sign on the dotted line and swear in and serve too. So, thank you. And you're welcome.